Josh, can you rebuild Beşiktaş? We definitely can. I love Turkish football, and today we're going to try and win Beşiktaş a Champions League. Try is the key word. If you do enjoy the rebuilds on this channel, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Keep the comments coming below on the rebuild you want to see next. We are working our way through them, and as always, if you want the tactic we use today and the rebuild file, you can go do so by joining the Patreon in the link below, where you get over 13 perks, including those two things, access to giveaways, one-on-one tactical help, and loads more things as well. Go over and say hello, because the community is absolutely popping. But let's get through and start this challenge. I think today is going to be a long one. So, Beşiktaş inside of Football Manager 2024. A team with a 4-star reputation, 3.5-star training facilities, youth recruitment is not looking too great, and the youth facilities are not looking too great, and obviously they're in a little bit of debt, or quite a lot of debt, so the aim is to try and clear as much of that today while still remaining competitive, which means that I will be spending money because I want to obviously win stuff, but the overall aim is to try and have a couple of seasons where we keep the spend quite low. But overall, this team have got a rich history. 14 Turkish Super Leagues, 10 Turkish Cups, 9 Super Cups, Turkish Prime Minister's Cups, Turkish Federation Cups, loads of cups going on, but the one thing they're missing is a European trophy, and that was obviously my aim. I want to win them a Champions League or a Europa League. I want to win them something like that. Now, for me, I've looked at the team, I've looked at what we've got. I will say, if you are playing back home, you have got a budget of around £3 million, but for me, I will not be spending a penny. Because of that, I want to sort of just calm down the net debt a little bit, and we are going to be going in with this team. It's a basic 4-2-3-1. I'm going to mould it around the players as we go through. Now, I do know a few of these players, a few familiar faces. For example, if you're a Premier League fan, Masuaku is a player you would have heard of. If you haven't, then I don't know where you've been living, because he's a big Premier League player. You also go through, Al-Mazrati is a player who I really like. I potentially would keep him for the entire rebuild, but I don't know if he's going to want to leave. Hopefully he doesn't. He obviously only on loan, but if we can afford him, I will buy him. Fernandes, a player Mourinho wanted desperately in that Tottenham system, and to be fair, I will say he didn't necessarily work too well in that Tottenham system, but at Beşiktaş, I think he's going to absolutely cook. He's a great player, young player. I say young, he's 24, it's sort of young enough to be with us for 5 years, put it that way. A very decent player indeed. You've then got the likes of, I always butcher the name, I think it's Rashisha, I believe is how you say that. A good Super League player, obviously previously of Norwich, so not like world class, but will get the job done in the Turkish league. That is definitely to be said. Rebic is a real good player, a real standout player for me. Previously of Milan and Frankfurt. He's not the quickest, but trust me, he makes up for it with his finishing. He can score a goal. As you can see, he can actually play striker as well. Now, as we go through this team, there's loads of different players we can sit here and talk about, to be honest. Obviously, you've got Tosun, you've got Rossier, you've got Oxlade-Chamberlain, a bit of a throwback there. But this guy here, Semir. Semir is a player I would really like to stand out with. Now, I am going to give him a season or two to prove himself, to be the top goal scorer in this team, and be the target man, the big boy up front. If he can't, I will sign someone, but I am going to give him a shot because he has developed really well for me in another save. Now, what I will say is, we are playing in 3 competitions today: the Turkish Super League, the Conference League, and that Turkish Cup, and they are going to be predicting a finish of 3rd place for us. Now, for me, I genuinely believe in the formation I've put out. I believe in the players. I genuinely think we can come out and win the league in the first season. Let's see what we can do in Season 1. So we're going to throw ourselves right into a Conference League final in the Europa League, where unfortunately we go 1-0 down. We do bounce back with Masuaku down the left-hand side, a ball-back stick, and Oxlade-Chamberlain at his age is still scoring important goals for fun. Again, picking up the ball now down the right-hand side. A great pass as well into Rebic, who I did say can grab a cheeky goal, as it is going to be Abakar coming in, making it 3-1, and we actually are going to wrap up this final 4-1, which is a very good result against Villa. What a performance. For the Turkish Cup, Fenerbahce were a little bit too strong. It was a ridiculous game though, ending 7-4 on aggregate, obviously over the games, and that is a very frustrating occurrence, but I'm not as annoyed because we have won and got invincible in the Turkish Super League. That is why the tactics cook. 36 wins, 2 draws. Those draws coming in against 2 very decent teams in the league. We've got a player in the top goal scorer and ranks. We've got 3 players in the average rating, 3 players in the most assists, which, by the way, Oxlade-Chamberlain, take a bow. 30 years of age, and he's still doing it. We love to see it. We've got the most clean sheets, and I do think, yeah, most clean sheets, fewest conceded. We've got the most shots. We've got the fewest shots against, the most goals, the most points. It was a really convincing season. But obviously, we've already won them the European trophy. And that was the main aim. Don't worry, the video doesn't end here. We are going to try and carry on and push because I think we can actually, over 5 seasons, maybe have a shout at winning a Europa League or a Champions League. Now, what I will say is, if we go into the squad, we can see already from day one, we've got players contributing. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 players scoring 25 goals plus. 42 for Rebic, the player I was hyping up at the start. 32 coming in for Vincent. Oxlade-Chamberlain with 30. 30 coming in for Musi. We've got Semir coming in with 26, the player I had a lot of faith in. We've got Rashica coming in with 12. Assist-wise, 33 for Masuaku. 23 coming in for Sevenson, please how you say that. Chamberlain with 21, 17 for Musi. We've got Mazrati coming in with 16. This is why we're so dominant, because we've got so many players contributing, and the tactic is set up for these wing-backs to really thrive. As you can see, they're the attacking sort of elements of the team, so it clearly does work to a very, very high level, and of course, we are overlapping left and right, and that is why it is working so well. Now, what I will say is, we have got a budget of only bit more than that, we've got a budget of £9 million, and I'm going to say it, there could be a world where I don't sign a single player. I'm going to see if we can just rerun the same season back, but I'm going to do everything I can to try and bring this guy in on the permanent. But that might take up the whole budget. I don't know. Let's get into season 2 of the transfers. Probably hope not to spend as much as the entire transfer budget, but we'll see. Funny enough, Mazrati actually took up the entire transfer budget, coming in for £9.5 million. Yes, he's a 28-year-old player, but he is a star Super League player, and for a player with these attributes, you are not going to get it any cheaper than that sort of price tag. So we had to bring him in. He had a decent first season. That is going to be our first signing. That is right, there is another signing, and that was a freebie. He's a player, an amazing talent, an awful mentality in real life, but for us, I'm hoping we can get the best out of him. If we don't, we can sell him on for a few million down the line. He's incredibly versatile on the left and on the right hand side. Good aggression, good bravery, good determination, good tackling, good pace, everything you would want for a wing back. And I will say the fact that he cost me nothing and he's only on 24 grand a week helped out massively to make that decision. But as you can imagine, the team looks literally the same going into season number 2 because we didn't spend much money at all. We only spent the small budget we got given. Now, although this might be like, Josh, you're trying to improve, you're trying to win the Champions League, I am, but I'm also trying to clear that debt a little bit. So we're going to go into season 2, where of course we are going to be playing in these competitions, the Super League, the Champions League, the Turkish Cup, and the Turkish Super Cup, and they are going to be predicting a finish of 3rd place again, which, despite just winning it, we haven't strengthened really, so it's a fair enough prediction. Let's get into Season 2 with a probably the smallest transfer window I've ever done in Season 2, and see what we can do. We're going to do the back-to-back in the league, which is really good, because we must be bringing in a fair bit of money back into the club now. 95 points, not as strong of a season, and maybe this is alarm bells ringing saying, Josh, you need to start bringing in fresh players, because you can't just keep playing the same. You need to bring in fresh faces to stay competitive. But this season wasn't an issue. We've got 1st and 2nd in the goals being scored, 1st and 2nd in the average rating, and 1st and joint 2nd when it comes to the assists. And also, we'll throw in the most clean sheets, which is really, really positive to see. That wasn't the only thing we won though, because, in fact, let's watch it. Turkish Cup final against Galatasaray. It's a bit of a scrappy goal to get things going inside of 8 minutes and 30 seconds. This goal here was a bit interesting. We win the ball back quite high up the pitch. The attacking wing back, a great ball in the box to make it 2-0. They do get a goal here to make it 2-1, and it was quite a good goal to be fair. A good pass and move and an okay finish. Goalkeeper maybe could have done better, but we win the ball back here high up the pitch again into Chamberlain, a 3-1 win. So with 2 trophies under the belt, the other 2 competitions didn't go as smoothly. We do get to the final of that Super Cup. Obviously, we were in the final, but we do lose to Galatasaray on penalties, and the Champions League, a round of 16 exit against PSG in 6-2 fashion. So an absolute obliteration in the Champions League. But overall, it's another Turkish Cup, it's another Turkish League win. That is 2 for 2. It's really good going considering we signed 1 player, but 1 player paid for, 1 player on the free. Didn't spend hardly any money. I'm hoping we brought a lot of money back into the club. Now, what I will say is we have been given a budget of £33 million, which actually is very generous for this sort of stature of club, considering the debts and loans, which is very, very slowly coming down. So I am going to somewhat have to spend in this window because we've already done 2 seasons with no real official signings, but we'll try and keep it somewhat tame. I will say, going to the squad again, we are seeing a very good contribution coming in from Vincent. Rebic again with 30, but it all comes down to how much can they do this? They're older players. They can't do this season upon season upon season. They can only do it for such a amount of time. Samir comes in with 8, so a bit of a drop off compared to the last season. Milo with 18 and 18, a very good season. Chamberlain still performing very, very well. 29 assists from our right back, which is great. But he is also 32, so again, there is going to be a fall off at some point. We've got to be so careful we time this right, because if we actually look into this team, going by the best 11, you look at it, older player, older player, older player, older player, older player, older player. It's probably 7 or 8 of our players are getting really on the old side, so we are forced to spend money going into the third transfer window. But after this sort of season, I think it's deserved. Let's get into the third transfer window and go and spend our 33 million. Unfortunately, I don't know why he wanted to, but he just wanted to leave. I guess it's a Premier League move. Masrati is going to be going to Everton for 16.7 million. The only bonus to that is we turned a profit, but honestly, we have lost an absolute powerhouse in midfield. Time is up at the club for Vincent. I would have kept him. His scoring goals, but he didn't want a new contract. He's going to go on the free to a move to France. It's a big loss again. It's not looking good so far. And a number 1 and a free signing, that is going to be Abdullah Sima, coming in from Millwall. Again, I know it's a Millwall player, a bit of a step down, but I will say he looks ridiculous. 17 acceleration, really good jumping, good pace, good finishing, good dribbling. He's only on 26 grand a week and can play on the left and on the right. And considering the age of the players in our team, 24, he's quite a youngster. Yeah, that's not a youngster, but a very good player. Previously of obviously Frankfurt, Hertha Berlin, Lazio. That is going to be Kamada, coming in exactly on the free, £0 being spent. He is on a fair bit per week of 84,000, but he looks incredibly well-rounded, can play through the middle, can play deeper in midfield, and I just think having a player like this, he's going to absolutely tear apart this league. I wanted to have some Turkish presence in the team, so I thought, do you know what? Let's go and sign a very popular Turkish goalkeeper, Altay Banadir. Obviously, previously a Fenerbahce, so please do not crucify me, but he wanted to move and he was happy to move, so we are going to bring him in. 27 years of age, again very young for a goalkeeper. He cost me £8 million, so not too much, and that should be our goalkeeper locked in for the entire rebuild. Probably the most high-profile signing, it is going to be Riyad, coming in on loan but joining permanently. A fantastic centre-back and will be our centre-back going forwards, that is no doubt at all. He can become a star Super League player. He's only 22 years of age, and at the end of the day, he's on 16 grand a week, so not a massive investment either. Now, the team is going to look a little bit like this. So the team is going to be Alte, we've got Sevenson, Amati, Riyad, Williams. I'm not going to say that name, so we'll butcher it. Fernandez, Oxlade-Chamberlain, Kamada, Rebic, and Maleka. Now, I will say this guy will probably, although he doesn't look too bad at all, he actually looks quite good, but I will say, I would imagine it's going to be more like this, with Semir coming in, hopefully scoring some goals. I will say the team has definitely got some new faces. Has it strengthened tenfold? Probably not, because again, we haven't been able to go out and spend 50, 60 million pounds on one player. So we are still in a very similar position to what we were in terms of squad quality, and we are playing in 4 competitions, the same competitions, and they are going to be predicting a finish of 3rd place again, which probably is bang on. Now, I will say, I do not know if we're going to win the league again. That would be very impressive, 3 back-to-back without spending a lot of money at all. Let's get into the 3rd season. I'm going to be honest, I really just hope we can carry on winning the Turkish Cups. If we don't win the Super League this season, it's a bit annoying, but it's not the end of the world. We have won 2 out of 2 so far. We can't be 100% perfect. Let's go and see what we can do. Very boring Super Cup final, but one that we did win, and actually is going to be one of the older players lashing it in. Champions League is the Champions League. Very close, but knocked out against Real Madrid. But let's be honest, we were never going to beat Madrid at this stage of the rebuild. Before, we'll let someone else win, and it's going to be Galatasaray winning overall on penalties. Not a nice way to go out, but what is nice, it's going to be another Turkish League win. That is 3 back-to-back, so that is going to be a Turkish Super League win and a Turkish Super Cup. Another 2 trophies in another season. We are 100% win rate when it comes to the league. This time, though, this is as comfortable as what I'm going to allow it to be. 1 point. We need to spend now, because they are catching up. 1 more season. we've got to fall down 1, if not 2 places. We need to spend money now. Now, what I will say is Simmer comes in and picks up 19 goals. Kamada comes in, picks up 17. 2 free signings, potentially won me the league. So that is fantastic business. We've got Simmer and Rossier coming in with first and second with the average rating. And Aute Bandadier comes in with the second most amount of clean sheets. So a very good performance, 2 more trophies. And as a squad, we are looking at 28 goals for the freebie signing. Samir picks up 25 goals, really picking up them striker boots now and scoring. We've got Seema coming in with 20, 18 for Rebic. Chamberlain still contributing at the age of 32, 17 and 13. 16 assists, by the way, for Kamada. I actually think he is the player of the season. What a season. 28 goals and 16 assists in 1 season. We can't overlook the assist from Brandon Williams either, coming in at 12, 13 coming in for Fernandez, and overall I do think it's quite obvious, but it is actually going to be, technically it's going to be Simmer picking up the best rating, because this guy probably played like 2 games, so fair play to him. Kamada's up there as well, Rossier's also up there, a lot of players putting up high 7 match ratings, a really strong showcase of what is up and coming for the future really. Now I will say, despite winning another Super League and a Super Cup, I'm hoping we have got a big budget, because I'm at a point now where I need to sort of take the reins off and go and spend big. And we have been given £80 million, which means, yeah, the debt's coming down tenfold. So the balance is looking pretty nice. And I will say that is now 3 league titles and several cups we have won them, and a conference cup, so a conference league cup. So I will say, if we actually look already at what we've done for this team, yeah, I'm not being funny. They need to be putting money back in from somewhere, and they have done. So let's go and improve this team. That should bring us in at least 4 players. But I wouldn't have sold him, but he wasn't happy, so we are going to let him go. That is going to be Brandon Williams going to Gijon for 3.4 million. Wasn't too fast that he went, despite scoring the important goal. He is going to go on the free to Agi Xere, I believe that's how you say that, over in France on the free. Signing 1, a young and youthful right back. That is going to be Thiago Santos, coming in from Lille, previously of Sporting. A fantastic wing back that does set you back a fair bob or two at 33.5 million, but he looks absolutely incredible. He's got 15 tackling, 17 acceleration, 16 pace. He's got good crossing, good dribbling. He is basically a perfect wing back at the age of 23. He is close to his full potential, but still can grow a little bit. He is going to be an incredible fullback. It's a loan option with the permanent option secured. That is going to be Matthias Süle, coming in from Juventus, a player who is already a star Super League player at the age of 23. He's got 17 dribbling. Some say the new Lionel Messi. 15 acceleration, decent pace, good agility, good technique, good vision, decent finishing as well, okay composure. And he still can improve somewhat. He is on loan this season, but is going to be a permanent player. Welcome in the Beşiktaş Messi. We're also going to bring in another Turkish player. That is going to be Yasin Özkan, coming in from Ipswich. Very interesting, obviously getting the move there, not working out too well. Definitely one for the future, might not get into the team right away, but considering he cost me £10 million, good for registration, bit of Turkish pride as well, welcome in. Now, I rarely sign regens as a rule of mine, but to be honest, the strikers on the market weren't looking that good. I also want to respect Semir as well and give him a bit of a competitive opportunity. So I brought in another player who's similar in different areas. A lot more, he's a lot more sort of mobile is what I would say. Now, what I will say, this guy Mancilla obviously is a regen, a star Super League player, but just look at him. He only cost me a total of £15 million. He's a wonder kid in the game, 16 finishing, 15 composure, 16 technique, 16 acceleration, 17 pace, 16 balance, 17 agility. On 9k a week, you have got to be off your rocker not to pick him up. It's going to be Riyadh, obviously been at the club. I thought, you know what, let's get him in, an absolute incredible player. We can see it here, to be fair with you. So he obviously was on loan, he played okay, but for £12 million, we're going to bring him in permanently. And that is going to mean the team looks a little bit like this. So it is going to be Aute, Santos, we've got Taufa, we've got Riyadh, Masuaku, we've got this lad who I will not butcher the name of, Fernandez, Süle, Kamada, Rebic and Mancilla up front. The bench is looking stronger and stronger, still lots of room for improvement, but again, we spent our entire budget, I will be honest with you, and maybe that's not the correct thing to do, but I do want to try and push on and see if we can win a Champions League with this Beşiktaş side. Now, I will say, we are playing in exactly the same competitions, and they are going to be predicting a finish of around about second place, sorry. Now, for me, I don't At some point, you've got to stop winning Super Leagues. I don't think you can win 5 out of 5. If we do, I'll probably create the best tactic in the game. So we'll see what can happen. I will say, if you are enjoying yourselves so far, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. It is completely free and helps the video get pushed out to many others, which hopefully enjoy the content as much as you do. So hopefully we can carry on and impress the new viewers by going into Season 4 and at least winning a couple of these trophies. I think we might have broken the game because we have won the Turkish Super League again. That is 4 on the bounce. Fenerbahce and Galatasaray actually fallen back in the pecking order now. Actually 10 points behind, 11 points for Galatasaray. Now Mansilla comes in and picks up the second most amount of goals being scored. Kamada maintains the 3rd place. Kamada, 1st place with the average rating. And we have also got, Özcan coming in, the player who I said potentially wouldn't even get into the team to start with, is picked up the 3rd amount of assists in the league. What a start for him. And as a squad, we have really come in, and 39 goals for Mansilla, and it does appear he has pushed out Samir to not getting any sort of game time. I would imagine it would be between Mansilla and Kamada playing up front, which is a bit of an issue, but when you've got a player scoring nearly 40 goals, you can't really be too angry. You got Kamada with 27, Oxlade-Chamberlain, I would sell, but he's doing absolute bits for me. 20 goals for him, 14 for Rebic, Saul with 12 and 10. We've got 16 assists for Özcan, an incredible first season. 17 for Svensson. We've got Amir with 19 as well. And it's just a really well-balanced season. The only disappointment, and I will just show it all in one go because it's not really too much positivity, is that's the only thing we won this season. The Super Cup we are going to lose against Galatasaray in 2-1 fashion. Back to the quarter-finals now. We are going to get knocked out against Fenerbahce, which is a very annoying situation. And the Champions League quarter-finals against Arsenal. Now, I wanted to win the Champions League. I really did, but we've got one more season. Unless the budget is massive, it's not going to happen. I never give up, though. I will always try and make it happen. But we're going to need 2 things, a big budget and signings to go in our favour. So let's just see what we've got. 37 million, 45 million. It might not be enough to win us a Champions League. I look at this team now and I am really excited by what I see. We have got some good players, but I look at it and maybe we need another midfield player. Maybe Rebic needs someone younger on the wing to partner him as well. Masuaku can't be at left back. Maybe another centre back. There's a few whats and ifs in this tactic. The tactic's really good. The players we've got is really good. The rebuild's going really well, but we've got one more transfer window to try and make a team ready for the Champions League. And the only way I can think we're going to win the Champions League, and you're not going to want to hear this, is if we sort of throw the Turkish Super League a little bit, i.e. keep playing rotation in the league and make sure our full 11 is fit for the Champions League. Now, I don't think anyone would ever do that in their right mind, but we have won 4 Turkish Super Leagues. Is it right? Is it not right? I don't know, but I think I'm going to try. I'm going to try and do it because I want to try and prioritise the Champions League because I think that would be an incredible video. But let's go into Season 5 of the transfers and see what we can do. Unfortunately, Rebic's time at the club is going to be up. He is going to leave on the free, and he is going to go to Shakhtar after 4 very, very good seasons. He come on the free, he left on the free. We've got to pay our respects. The first signing on the free is going to be a youthful centre-back, Bashir Humphreys, coming in from Nottingham Forest. Of course, played a lot of his football, obviously, over in England, apart from Paderborn, obviously over in Germany, but we had a great sort of opportunity to pick a good player up here. He is not the best of the best, but again, he's free, and he can grow into a leading Super League player. Spent big to secure a very good midfield player, a leading Super League midfield player to be exact. That is going to be Danilo, previously of Palmeiras and Nottingham Forest, a very well-rounded player, can play deep, centrally and attacking. He did cost me a grand total of £40 million, but we've got a player here who potentially could win you a Champions League. For Wonder Kid, another regen coming up into the mix, and this is going to be another right back, and I saw him on the market and I paid a grand total of £2 million, so you can see why I've done it. He just looks really good at the age of 18. He's quick, good balance, his tackling's very good for that age, and I just think, do you know what? Get him in. One for the future. I know a lot of you back home are going to get this rebuild file on the Patreon. Why not try and set you up for the future? And this guy is a big part of that. We also are going to pick up Pierre Ekwa, coming in from Everton, previously of Sunderland, West Ham, Chelsea, and FC Nantes over in the French League, of course. And this guy, again, might not get into the team right away, but is 25, which is quite young considering the start of this this rebuild. Our players were 30, 34. He's a very young player who I do think still can grow a little bit. He's a leading Super League player. He cost me 14 million, which I don't think is too bad. It's almost £2 million less than what Everton paid for him. Welcome in, Pia. Lastly, we are going to bring in Joaquin Pigueres, coming in from Brighton. He is 28, so an older left-back, but the left-back market was, let's just say, quite challenging. Not too many people coming in, and I just think for the bigger games, compared to obviously where Ozcan can't really, play against a Madrid or something, a more solid option like this is going to be a good option. He cost me £22 million. He's very well rounded in all areas, and I just think is going to be a good signing for this last and upcoming season. The tactic now looks a little bit like this. We are going to have the same system, of course, but I'm going to utilise a higher defensive line. We are going to go with Alte, Santos. We've got Taufar, Riyad, Pigueres, Danilo, Fernandez, Sewell, Kamada, Sima, and Mansilla up front, with some really good players on the bench now. And I look at the team, and I think, Josh, can you win a Champions League? And my honest response, not comfortably. Not comfortably. I would need another great season from Mansilla. I would need Sewell to carry on. I would need Sima to carry on. And I would need instantly the left-back and the new midfield option to come in and develop instantly and start performing. But there's a lot of ifs that require a good Champions League win. Now, we are playing in those competitions. Of course, the League, the Champions League, the Cup, the Super Cup, the Turkish Super League. I'm going to be honest, I'm a little bit bored of winning it now. We've won it 4 times back to back, so I might even look to throw a couple of games there to make sure we've got full fitness for the Champions League. Let's get in to what is going to be the 5th and final season, and it's all or nothing. It's all or nothing. The Champions League, it's all I want. So a very boring Turkish Cup final against Rizespor. We are going to win it 1-0, but oh boy, it was a boring final. Super Cup, we get a little bit lucky in, but we are going to win it against Fenerbahce in extra time. And we've done it again. It is 5 out of 5 league titles. I have never seen a tactic do it this consistently. I know we've been bringing in new players, and I have tweaked the tactic here, there, and everywhere. But honestly, if you want this tactic and this rebuild file, do go over and get it on the Patreon, because we have cooked up potentially one of the best rebuilds in terms of signings, in terms of tactics. We have absolutely cooked here. And I will say, Mansilla, we don't even know what's happened in the Champions League yet, but in the league, we have taken over every single stat line. The goals, the average rating, the assists. Clean sheets we didn't. One behind Livakovic, who is a fantastic Fenerbahce goalkeeper. But overall, in the league, we have been so convincing. We have not lost a single season. And 2 of those seasons, we didn't even bring in hardly any players. The Champions League final against Man City, where we go 1-0 down. And we're playing Man City. It's reality. All things become harder, don't they? And I will say, not for us, though, because Chamberlain goes through into Mansilla to tie it up 1-1, 30 seconds after we concede. And we go on to win this in 2-1 fashion with Chamberlain into Sevenson, who wraps it up. And that is going to be the Champions League 1 with some pretty convincing stats as well. That is going to be the perfect end to this video. A quadruple winning season. The Turkish Super Cup, the Champions League. It did take us 5 seasons, but we got it done. It's 5 out of 5 for the Super League, the Turkish Cup, and the Super Cup. But what we've done for the club is absolutely massive. I mean, 4.5-star reputation now. The overview, we have won them so many more trophies. A Champions League, a Conference League, all in their name, and everything has just gone in our favour. Now, I would imagine, finance-wise, you are a little bit limited now with 5.2 million. I will say the debts and loans, you have still got a bit of a debt, but honestly, you have to still spend money, and we have come out and completely changed this club from only a team that have won Turkish trophies to now European giants. So I will say the challenge I'm going to set you back home is to carry on this success but clear the £128 million debt. And if you have enjoyed today's video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Keep the comments coming below. Again, go over, show some love to other people as well that have done a Beşiktaş rebuild. I love the Turkish viewers on this FM game because they're so passionate. And if you want to see a Fenerbahce, Galatasaray video, do let me know, because the Turkish League is actually quite a lot of fun. But I'll be seeing you in the next one. Enjoy the rest of your day.